Right now, Japanese Pokemon cards are going through a pretty significant growth cycle. Now, this is a pretty big deal because for years they've stayed relatively flat, though it does seem they are spiking pretty hard right now. And honestly, I'm not surprised because Japanese Pokemon cards, there's so many reasons why they're such awesome collectibles. Number one is the quality control. Most Japanese Pokemon cards have well over an 85% chance to be returned as a PSA 10. And there's also a different level of authenticity when you actually have the cards in the language that they were originally created in. So it does make it really stand out when you do collect these. But yeah, the market is just really growing at the moment. Check this out. All right, so the first one that we're going to speak about is the Inferno X Charizard. I just want to go look at that month graph. We can see selling for $509. In this last month alone, right now selling for $594. Japanese Pokemon cards are super in demand again. And it's pretty interesting that it's happening right now. I think what's going on is that the English Pokemon cards are just so out of reach for a lot of people. In so many ways. And now people are saying, hey, I can actually get much better quality in terms of printing quality. Obviously, with this Inferno X Charizard, if you do know the special art rare, a lot of people actually prefer it because the Charmander artwork in it is not obscured by text. And that was a little bit of an oversight for the English version. It can seem a little bit nitpicky, but really, when you are collecting these high-end collectibles do work as art pieces as well. But that is actually a big selling point for the Japanese special art rare for this Charizard in particular. But selling for $594, that's some serious price growth, man. It's pretty expensive. So yeah, I mean, the English version was selling at that price point only a few months back. So the Japanese cards are they're really getting super in demand right now. And like I said before, there is so much reasons why people love collecting Japanese. I sometimes when I speak about Japanese Pokemon cards, a lot of the people be like, oh, Phil, don't talk about it because we don't want anyone to know. But I kind of feel like, man, the cat's been out of the bag for so long now. People just understand that the print quality of Japanese Pokemon cards is far better. If you do like grading Pokemon cards, you are, I don't want to say the word guaranteed a PSA 10, but you usually have anywhere from like an 85 to a 90% chance to get a PSA 10 on Japanese Pokemon cards. English, some special illustration rares, 30 to 35%, even like Magikarp, I think that was sitting at like 16 or 17% to get a PSA 10. That is completely reversed when it comes to Japanese cards. Moving to the Gengar from Mega Dream EX, right now selling for $371. Huge, man. That is such expensive prices. The cool thing about Japanese booster boxes is that they do have guaranteed hit rates. When it comes to English booster boxes, you can pull no special illustration rare, and if you really don't pull anything, you can even pull no illustration rares, right? That can actually happen. Japanese booster boxes don't have that. You are guaranteed something out of the booster box, whether you're going to hit the Gengar or if it's Terrestrial Festival, the Umbreon. You never know what you're going to get, but it is a big selling point for why people love it, and we can see the market's now really responding to Japanese Pokemon cards. Moving on to the Inferno X Booster Box. I'm in the last 3 months here. We can see we're selling for $105 US. Right now selling, there you go, for $133. So it has not gone massive spikes, but there has been a little bit of a rise recently. If I pull this into the 6 months, we can see that the top of the market for the Inferno X Booster Box was $147. And like I said, right now selling for that $133 range. So definitely a much more affordable booster box than if you were going to be buying Phantasmal Flames, but they don't come with as many packs inside as well. So that is something to consider. Though a lot of people are just moving on and saying, hey, I'm going to be adding Japanese cards to my collection. Honestly, if you put them in a binder, a lot of the time, the Japanese Pokemon cards do look much better as well. They have that nice, like a bit of a glimmer about them, but I do love adding Japanese to my collections for those specific reasons. And in terms of the opening experience, a lot of people will know that they're some of the most fun booster boxes to open. And if prices keep rising as well, and with the guaranteed hit rates, I think a lot of people are going to be adding Japanese to their collection. Now, moving on to one that has really been climbing recently is the Japanese 151 booster boxes. Here you go, selling for $244 last month, right now selling for $292. Really, really in demand right now. If you are new to the hobby, it's actually been 3 years since these released, which is crazy. Time goes by quickly, man. I just remember these always sometimes still feel new to me, but it's been, 3 years. So much new people have come into the hobby since then, right? And the prices that these have been going up recently has been wild because people are just realizing, hey, maybe we just let this kind of slide away, and now the prices are going up crazily. Though while speaking about these Japanese Pokemon cards, if you do want to resource to find some, then that does bring me to today's video sponsor, Bai. Now, if you've ever tried buying items from Japan, you've probably hit that wall where the seller just won't ship overseas. Now, that's actually where Bai comes in. Bai is a Japanese proxy shopping service, and it basically opens you up to the entire Japanese market. You can search for anything such as Pokemon cards, and it instantly pulls listings from major Japanese sites all in the one place. When you buy something in Bai, it actually gets shipped to Bai's warehouse in Japan, and then they handle the packaging and ship it straight to your door. It's really simple and reliable, and it actually opens up the access to items that you can't get anywhere else. It's become a very useful tool as of late, especially with how in-demand Japanese Pokemon cards have been. So if you are chasing Japanese exclusive cards or products, Bai makes the whole process much easier. Now, what's so cool, if you are a first-time user, you can actually get 10% off your first order. All the details for that are in the video's description. A big thanks to Bai for supporting the channel. Now let's jump back into this video. So here I'm on the Gengar Master Ball Reverse Holo. In the last 3 months, we can see there it was selling for $160. Right now, the Gengar is selling for $390 for the Master Ball Reverse Holo. Big thing that's interesting about this is, from what I believe so far, the Gengar is actually now the most expensive Master Ball Reverse Holo from the Japanese sets, and it was always the Pikachu. So isn't it funny how the hobby works? Because 3 years ago, everyone wanted the Pikachu. That was the main dominant card, which I'm about to show you in just a second, though now it is Gengar. And that's the thing about the hobby. You never want to count things out. You never know what can shift. With what happened now with Ascended Heroes with the Gengar, the new Gengar promo from EB Games and GameStop, there is a lot of limelight right now on Gengar, and we can see now all these collectors want to collect these cards. And what's crazy about this is, there you go, the hobby is such a long game, and that's why you got to think about it as well. Also, hey, I just want to say, if you have been enjoying the video and it is your first time on the channel, I want to say hi and welcome. My name's Phil, and I create content around Pokemon cards and the Pokemon market. Definitely feel free to subscribe for consistent content. And right now I'm on the Pikachu Master Ball Reverse Holo, and you can see it's selling for $277. So there you go. It is right now $100 cheaper than the Gengar Master Ball Reverse Holo, which it is insane how the hobby works, and how, if you do collect and play the long game, how much rewards you can get in the long term, because things can shift. And when they shift, the change just happens. And people don't expect it at the time. I'm gonna just pull this into the year graph. So if I'm in the pretty much last year, selling for $147, the low that this had was 130 US. And right now, there you go, selling for $277. A lot of people are now really collecting Japanese Pokemon cards, and I wonder if this is gonna be a thing that sticks for the long term. Pretty much after the Japanese female trainer card boom that happened in early 2023, they didn't really hold that much in the market since then, but now they're having a resurgence. Moving on to a very cool card. It is the Umbreon from Terrestrial Festival. Right now, selling in the market for $367. Honestly, with the prices of the English Special Illustration Rare, if you really wanted this card in your binder, I think this is the one to get. It is still super expensive. It still has a lot of room to grow, and you don't have to fork out so much money to get some skin in the game. If I pull this into the last 6 months, you can see the low point that this had was $289. Like I said, right now selling for $367. So there is growth on these cards. It's just not that insane like you're gonna see with English Pokemon cards. And 151 is also going up. If you can see here, I'm on the Charizard 151, the Special Art Rare, and there you go, right at the end of that graph, it has started climbing. The low that this card had was last year in June for $163, and right now it is selling for $378. That is crazy, man. That is like what has happened to Japanese Pokemon cards recently. People are just realizing this all at the same time, and yeah, there is so much hype right now building for these cards. Though, of course, that was for all the like the singles and all that, but if you really want to have some fun, you can look at some of the PSA 10 prices of the most desired cards. I'm on the Mario Pikachu promo. As we all know, one of the most iconic Pokemon cards. It's pretty much a very high-end grail. Though I'm going to just check this out in the last year. This card in PSA 10 was selling for $9,700, which is, when you're looking at 9.7K, a lot of people would be thinking, how much more can it climb? Well, apparently it can. Right now, the most recently sold price is $32,000. So when you're thinking about cards, and maybe you got a card in your collection or a PSA 10 and you're like, oh, it's $800, might not climb up anymore. Well, guess what? If they start climbing and people want it, they can really change. And if people are holding on to these, wow, have you made a good decision. But of course, what are the chances that people could have even bought it at $9,000? Right now, it's selling for 32 grand. These cards, in some ways, are very, very treasured. And this Mario one in particular is definitely one of the most wanted cards in all of Pokemon collecting. But yeah, selling for 32K, that's insane prices. Same thing with the Luigi. The Luigi is right now selling for 16,800. And if we do look last year, it was selling for 4,500. So yeah, if you did buy that and you thought, wow, I overpaid at 4.5K, well, you're not really complaining at the moment, are you, if they're selling for that? But yes, the Japanese promos are really going through big price spikes. Yeah, if you have been thinking about adding Japanese to your collections, definitely, maybe this video has inspired you, but then again, I don't want people to be like, oh, Phil, you're just sending people to collect Japanese. The reality is, people are going to be collecting it anyway. As you can see, there's been always a market for this, and I'm a big fan of Japanese Pokemon products for a lot of reasons. But yes, the market has really started shifting. A lot of collectors are really engaged right now. And of course, it's becoming an interesting time to be involved in the hobby. But I mean, we're seeing a lot of big things and big shifts happening in Pokemon at the moment. But more importantly, I think right now, it's very important to not make any mistakes when you're collecting. And the 5 most common Pokemon investing mistakes to avoid can actually be seen in this video on screen here. Within this video, I go into detail of some of the common mistakes you'll see along the way. If you enjoyed this video, click the video that's appearing on screen. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next video.